Welcome to a very special episode of the Comic Book Strategic Investment Podcast. I am your Comic Book Invest Weekend Update correspondent, Nico, and I'm here with my good friend, Mikey Halperin, the most aggressive buyer on any showroom floor that I've ever seen. We are really excited to talk about the ongoing heritage auction. I really appreciate you joining me to do that. There's a ton of stuff to talk about. So I just kind of want to jump in. Before we do that, can you tell those who have joined us live and who will be listening to this podcast a little bit about yourself?
A little bit about me. Well, I definitely buy and sell too many comic books. I definitely buy too many comic books. So I'm Mikey Halperin. I'm Mikey Comics on Instagram. I do a lot of work with Worldwide Comics. I do contract work with Heritage. I spend too much time doing comic book stuff.
Yeah, you're a humble guy. And if you get a chance on a con floor to watch him go, it's a thing of beauty. When we met, you were able to snag 3 timelies, and before I could figure out what they would even cost, you had sealed the deal. It was like, yeah, it was one of the neatest things I've ever seen. Anyway. Let's jump right in. This is one of the coolest items in the auction. Can you tell people a little bit about this particular item?
Albedo 2. So yeah, this is the first appearance of the Usagi Yojimbo. I think that's how you say his name. It's really an awesome series, and it was a very limited print. I think there's, I want to say 500 copies of this were printed, period. Maybe it's 5,000, something like that. And this came out around the same time as Ninja Turtles. And they've now just announced that they're about to put this rabbit in a Netflix TV show. So that's really, really neat. So this is one of the, star, there's a lot of hype around him right now. And it's signed by the artist. And I don't know, it's just a sick book. It's a sick book.
So let me ask you,
hard to get in grade.
Whose book is this?
It's my book. It's my.
Okay. Full disclosure. Did you get the Stan Sakai sketch?
Did I personally?
Yeah, or you able to?
No, I actually no. I'm a tinkerer. I didn't tinker with this one. Actually, but I'd send it off to CGC to have them do it themselves, because signature series, and that's kind of the history on this one. It was an eBay purchase. It looked really pretty from the photos. So yeah, and then when it came in, I couldn't have been more happy with it.
Now, we were talking last night. You indicated that you hoped to get it into the last auction.
Yes. Yeah, that was the original plan, was this for to go into the last auction. And I'm so happy it didn't, because it conflicted with another 9.8 in the auction. So that's why they didn't put it in there. But 3 days after that auction is when they announced the Netflix show. So I'm very happy that it did not get put in the last signature auction.
Now, my understanding is that a number of these books burn up in a fire. Do you know the details about that?
I couldn't tell you a thing about that.
Shame on me.
That is really interesting, though. I just know the print run on this was so low, and yeah, it was one of those things.
Yeah, and my understanding is, so low initial print run, subsequent fire, an unknown number of copies that are remaining, and an incredibly small census. Mm-hmm. Plus, now, we're looking at a Netflix cartoon that may or may not deal with Usagi, but certainly will deal with, some iteration of this character, or a descendant thereof. It's an unbelievable
Well, I feel like it's a pretty good investment book in a lot of ways, because if you look at the way Ninja Turtles is right now and how active that is, it's also limited print run for first copies, but even second, third prints now have surged through the roof. They're it's like $5,000, $6,000 for a third print 9/8, something like that. Maybe it's $3,000, but a second print 9/8, one of those hasn't sold recently, but I bet that would be over 5 figures. It's just, this is, I think, indicative of that, because this is also, it's not quite the same, caliber. It's not Ninja Turtles, but they do also have a little bit of, I don't know, it's just that
it's a much more rare book.
Very limited. It's very limited, same exact time period, and it's kind of the same fan base in a lot of ways.
No question about it.
I think there's actually some crossover between them. I'm not 100% on that.
Yeah, so Usagi Yojimbo number 10 featured an early appearance of Leonardo, and he was certainly a fixture in the cartoon. So I think for like a nostalgia piece, a lot of collectors remember when either their children watched that cartoon or they themselves watched that cartoon, and their fates are inextricably linked. It's an amazing book, and I'm really in awe of the fact that it's going to get to take it home.
Yeah,
there's a ton to talk about, so forgive me if I just fly through them. Can you talk about these Blue Beetles?
Yeah, this is another one that I own. It's just, any book from that period to be in that kind of grade is just, it doesn't come up. So, I mean, it's just a sweet cover. I mean, you've got the girl, you've got the Blue Beetle bursting in the back. It's everything you want in a book if you're a big Golden Age guy like that.
Yeah, so the Good Girl art piece, tell us, what's the strip mean? Who is the publisher?
The publisher, I need to read the label. I think it's Fox, though. I think it's Fox Features, and Fox books from that. Yeah, it's got to be Fox, because I know the paper.
They've all got that little thing on the spine.
Yep. So it's really hard, like, for these fray very easily from this time period. So it's really hard for them to get in really good grade. It's like same thing with like the Phantom Ladies and that kind of stuff. So it's
also Fox books.
Exactly. Similar. It's similar. Same period, same paper. So it's just really hard for them to get the exact, to get them in grade, period. So to have any that have survived like this is just, stunning.
Yeah. Now this one broke my heart that you chose it, because I was like, but maybe I've got a shot.
And that's what's really cool.
Not if anyone that I'm friends with watches this, because they'll all be bidding against me. What is this?
So this is, we've got the Heritage has a huge selection of video game art, whether it's box art or cover art or promotional art. But it's now with the recent surge in video games, it's just so cool to see the art part of that market. Because also, I'm a comic guy, and a comic book guy, and I'm now just getting into the art. But video games, whole new market, and it's just so cool seeing the artwork in that getting recognized. So yeah, this is the Capcom. I couldn't tell you too much about this. I just know it's a really sweet piece. There's plenty of them.
Absolutely amazing. We've talked privately about my belief that there's a potential emerging market for video game related art, right? So the Captain Commando advertising painting, this is original art that was used. There's a ton of this stuff that's starting to come to market now. It used to be you wouldn't see much of any of it, and I think there's a lot of potential in the long term for this stuff. particularly with the
Absolutely.
price tags that we see on some of these video games. One that is a real fan favorite.
Zelda. Zelda, and I'm not a video game guy, so keep that in mind. But this is, I mean, just to see these in that kind of grade is unbelievable. I believe this is the highest graded copy of Zelda number. Is this the second? Is this Zelda 1 or is this Zelda 2? I think it's Zelda 2. No, Legend of Zelda.
Number 1.
The highest graded copy of it, and it's just. I wish I could tell you too much more. I'm not a video game guy, but it's sick. I just know it's sick. This is what everyone's, the rage is about.
Yeah, and so one of the other things that you astutely observed is that some of the newer video games are really starting to pop up in price. I was stunned at the price tag on this PlayStation 2 game.
Yeah, so I need to double check what our last sale was, but I think it might have been over 10. I think it was over $10,000 for a copy of God of War. So, like games that came out, I played them. I played it. To bring that kind of money, it's very, very cool. And there's plenty of other ones. There's like the Halo 1, and then there's the Mario games, and it's sweet because it's like, now this is my childhood. This is what I really wasted a ton of my time doing, and they're bringing real money. Like, that's really sick.
Yeah, these are all mint in the box, sealed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what they mean when they say hang tag. I assume they mean the little thing you can hang it on.
Yeah, that's basically it. I think how they were purchased at the store.
I got nothing there, but it's unbelievable that theoretically someone has an unopened Christmas present
exactly that easy
in their attic,
that easy,
and lights out. There's 2, 5, 10K in less than a decade.
Yep.
That kind of explosive growth we don't see with comic books. I don't think we necessarily can think of a single sports card that would be like that, or really other collector's items or collectible items at all, where they started, as a commercial piece, and then in a decade or two, they're at, again, $1, $2, $5, $10,000. It's unbelievable. Like nothing I've ever seen.
It's awesome.
All right, tell me about this one.
Mile High copy of Mystery Men, number 27. Again, I think this is also a Fox. This is also a Fox Feature Syndicate book. So just to see these in grade at all is incredible. But this one's part of the Mile High collection, which is the nicest. This is it's the largest and best collection ever found. I think it was 5,000, 10,000 comic books, mint condition. Owner was Edgar Church, and he just kept them in perfect condition, stacked up on top of each other, great colors in the right climate in Colorado, white pages on a lot of the copies, and this is an example of that.
This book is a collection of John Burke.
Yep. I don't know if the crowd can see it that well because I know it's not zoomed in, but girl again, chained up, guys coming in. It's to rescue her. It's sweet. It's really, really cool. And yeah, anyways.
Can you tell people who John Burke is?
John Burke was the John Burke is a collector. He is a collector currently, and huge collection. Sold it through Metropolis Comics, and I don't know. It's one of the coolest collections I've ever seen. Really obscure golden age.
Connect, right?
What? Comic Connect. Yeah, Comic Connect.
Comic Connect. And that was how many years ago? It was
3
just
years
like
ago. 3 years
every
ago.
major key you can imagine in one auction.
Well, it was the coolest thing about his collection wasn't so much the the keys as much as it was the obscure stuff, like the mystery men. You never saw, no one had stuff like this. And to have a collection of the rarities like that, it was just really cool to see. And I mean, like, he had a fantastic 3 Mile High that sold for 200 and some odd, almost $300,000, I think. It was just such a sweet, sweet collection of stuff that a lot of people, the world doesn't really know. The world doesn't know at all. A lot of even comic book collectors don't know about, but they're just, it's the golden age. It's the 40s stuff that is just so damn cool. And he collected the best of the best.
Yeah, absolutely. Was
dun dun dun.
I mean, I've seen one copy of this in the last 2 years, and it was a 1.0. And this is unbelievable. Daredevil #1. Can you tell people a little bit about this book and why it's so important?
Well, all right, again, Mile High collection. But this is the start. This is the first appearance of Daredevil, not the Marvel one. But this is in the 40s. Anything with a Hitler cover, period, sells way too well. And just to see one in this kind of condition is unbelievable. Hitler's on the cover. It's just sweet.
Yeah, the bid was $16,500.
Yeah, I think that was as of yesterday. I mean, it's going to go. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? Way, way over that. But I don't know about it's going to go for a lot.
So, we talk very tongue-in-cheek about Hitler covers as if, that I hate to even call him a person, but the horrific monster that is Adolf Hitler wasn't like the most horrific figure in history. Can you kind of explain to people who or just kind of like looking at Golden Age books, why that stuff is so important to collectors, particularly collectors who are Catholic, in my case, Jewish in your case, people who were persecuted by Nazis, or at least their ancestors were persecuted by Nazis. Like, why do they hunt Nazi comic books and hunt Hitler comics? Like, what's that all about?
Well, so I know specifically for Timely now, Marvel, they very Jewish influenced. So they were really trying to put out the propaganda against them. So they had the really cool graphic covers, beating up Hitler, doing all that. Captain America Comics #1, Hitler getting punched in the face by Jack Kirby, also Jewish. So that whole era, time period, it's just really cool to see those graphic covers and the way that they were depicted by those artists. It's just, I don't know, and that's the funny thing, because now you kind of become a Hitler fan. You see him on any cover of a comic book, and you get a little bit more excited because it's just like it makes it cooler. So it's a little ironic in a way.
Yeah, I mean, the history surrounding these books is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's really important for the time, because this is a lot of these came out. These were, a lot of them were before we entered the war. So it was to, shift, I guess, public opinion to show how negative it was, even when they weren't aware of what was going on over there. So it's just really, it's neat. It's really, really neat. And showing that comic books were the history to kind of shape public opinion. It's just cool. It's really, really cool.
Yeah. Now this one's
first
a little softer and gentler. Talk to people about this book.
So this is the first appearance of Robin, Detective Comics 38. It just doesn't come up again in grade that often. I've never seen one sell in this grade before. This is the nicest copy I've seen unrestored. I think was it a 5.5, and 5.5s also don't usually look this pretty. This one's
Right?
I haven't seen it in person yet, but if someone's gonna try to, I don't know, it looks like it's got upgrade potential to me. It's a beautiful, beautiful copy.
Yeah, Batman books were beloved by fans, and people read the shit out of them. And they're never in good shape. I mean, ever. And even when they are in halfway decent shape, they certainly don't present like this.
No, it's a beautiful copy. Great color, Robin, and it's Robin.
Yeah, I mean, I'm as guilty as anyone. All I need to see is a trailer, and I'm like, I'm buying Batman books again. Right? Like that's all it took. All it took, and I was excited, and I got a feeling a lot of people looking at this auction are probably going to be the exact same way. Can you talk about this one?
More Fun 67. So this is part of the Crippen pedigree. Not a very huge collection. Sold by Heritage. I want to say
the raw copies had a certificate in the back from Heritage because when I see them, I try to buy them. I actually rescued one from West Virginia in the middle of nowhere, and then I gave it to my buddy. He'll be sending it to CGC soon.
But yeah, no, it was a huge collection of everything. Also everything. I don't know the history. I don't know who Davis Crippen exactly was, but it's sweet, and I know it was a giant collection. So yeah, anyways, the More Fun 67, it's a Spectre cover. All of these from that period are scarce. It's just, I mean, it's cool. It's cool.
And presents really well for a 4.0.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
you can tell from the small picture, but it's gorgeous. The Spectre books are super tough. I mean, they just don't come up.
Very collectible.
This is one of my favorite characters from the Golden Age.
Me
Can
too.
you tell people about Catman?
Well, I know
about the shirts, for some reason, I love the guy.
But yeah, I love him. And I think I'm pretty sure this is an LB Cole cover. Correct? Am I correct?
I don't know. He did so many of those. Let me look so I can see if I can get us a precise answer. I had the same question. Was like, well, is that LB Cole? Let me see here, buddy. I'm looking at.
But again, it's that wartime period. He's beating up. I know that's Mussolini. I think Tojo and Hitler on the front cover. Yeah, I think it's all three of them. And just bursting through, Mile High Collection, 9.6. They don't exist in that grade. It's just sweet. It's really cool.
That is not an LB Cole cover.
Nope.
Although the guy did a heck of a job.
Who's the artist?
I can't read it for the life of me. And I apologize. But I can discern that it's not LB Cole. Super cool cover though. Great colors. Looks like whoever did the cover was channeling their own personal LB Cole color palette, right?
Well, he was LB Cole was a little kid, so maybe it was influence. Maybe that was the influence.
Oh, no way.
Because this is he did later issues. This is the number 3rd. So I would think, this is, yeah, that's what I would think. This guy probably was one of his, I don't know, influencers for young LB Cole.
Makes sense. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Tell me about my favorite book in the auction.
So, all right, Negro Romance 4. So this is, I mean, a very scarce title, period. It was originally Fawcett, the first 3 issues, and Charlton picked it back up like 5 years later. Really only came out with 1 issue. Was never collected. So these was never bought. I shouldn't say collected. It's now super sought after because of just the rarity of it and being, a comic book from the 50s during that time about just public opinion then, all things considered. It's just really cool to see that from being published from a wide distributor. And what's extra neat about it, I mean, so it's a Gerber 7, so I think that means there's less than 50 copies in existence or less than 100 copies in existence. This is the highest rated one. Again, my book. And so this period, a major artist for this time was Matt Baker, and also he was like a black comic artist, and he died tragically, when he was very young.
All right, so for people who don't know who Matt Baker is, what did he draw?
He mostly did romance, but he had a lot of really cool, he has cool horror covers. He has cool every war covers. He has just interior artists. He's the Phantom Lady. Oh God, he's like one of the best artists of all time from the 50s time period. And he just no one could draw girls better than him. And that's the really cool thing about him. And this is kind of, so they don't know who the artist is, but they assume it's Vince Collada or something like that. And it's actually theorized that Matt Baker is literally on the cover of this comic book. If you look at the guy, the dapper man in the car, that looks kind of exactly like him. And also, he had the same yellow convertible. So it's very possible that this is a literal Matt Baker cover.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's absolutely beautiful.
Any romance collector, this is a grail, and it's sweet. It's sweet and scarce as fuck. So scarce.
I've only seen pictures. I've never held one in my hand, and the people that I've mentioned this book to in the auction, or I've mentioned this book to, in reference to the auction, have all salivated, including the guy who was at the brick and mortar shop in Pennsylvania that I was at today, who promptly told me, I've got somebody who's been looking for that book for the last 10 years. And I was like, well, now you have two people who are looking for that.
It doesn't.
Me and that other guy. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Absolutely just an amazing book. And I'll be really excited to see who's lucky enough to win.
Yeah, me too. The highest graded copy. Again, sweet Hitler cover.
Yeah,
Incredible
from hero to zero. Adolf Hitler on Master Comics.
That's our boy Hitler. So yeah, he's being by Marvel Jr. He's getting slapped. I think that's Tojo behind him also. But again, just sought after book, really scarce, mile high pedigree. It doesn't get better than that. It doesn't.
Yeah, this is a particularly cool cover for me. For whatever reason, I like Hitler being berated on the cover of these books, whether it's him running for his life or holding his hindquarters after getting smacked in the ass. Those kinds of books, Hitler being sent to hell is a particular favorite.
Great comics.
I love it. This one's great. I've never seen this book in grade before. It is gorgeous.
You never see it ever. So just to be in grade is a whole other experience. No, it's sick.
Yeah. And the big boy Batman books keep coming.
Yep. Detective Comics 69. Probably the best Joker cover. I think definitely for Golden Age, it absolutely is. Most sought after one, black cover, and God, it's beautiful. This is not my book, but I did help fix it up, and I thought it was going to get a whole grade higher than that. It's a beautiful, beautiful copy. I've never seen a 6.0 this pretty, and it's also part of the it's another pedigree, Cookville, and it's just beautiful, beautiful. You never see it in grade. You never see it presenting this well, and it's the Joker. It's the Joker.
Tough as it gets. Oops, sorry, wrong one. maybe the most coveted item in the auction.
Definitely the coolest. It's without a doubt one of the. It might be the coolest thing I've seen Heritage sell comic book related. This is because I'm a horror fanboy. So this is Leo Lilas, Chamber of Chills 19, the original art cover. It's as cool as it gets. I mean, it's just so it's from 1955. This cover was also it was spliced, the Die baby from the band. I'm spacing on the name right now. Huge influence. The Misfits. Yeah, they use this image, so it has a huge pop culture reference also, which is shown the really. There's a lot around this book because it's just cool.
Yeah, I only sold you a copy of the Chamber of Chills 19, and then somebody else paid a little bit more, and you were kind enough to let them have it because they were a nice person.
Yeah, a little while ago.
And it's doubled in price since then. It's unbelievable the growth on this book.
Cool. Cool.
And this particular cover image,
and yeah, it's from the Harvey. It's a Harvey, and I think there was a Harvey fire. So also, and so I know a lot of their original art was destroyed. Wow. So it's scarce, and for it to be in this kind of condition too, it's really clean original art, and one of the best images you could. One of the best horror covers, period. It might be the best. It's arguably the best horror cover, period. And it's for sale. Like, that's so damn cool. And it has and Misfits also used it. Huge band.
Yeah, what I love about heritage auctions is unless two people with literally nothing to lose get in a bidding war, stuff goes you can get things for an incredibly reasonable amount of money. I suspect that this thing's gonna triple before it's done.
Well, the sky's the limit on it. It's one of the thing is any other horror cover. Oh, in a bidding war. Oh my, who knows? Just absolutely who knows? Any other horror cover, Leo Lilas cover, it wouldn't be anywhere close to six figures, but I mean, still, obviously expensive.
I'm a fan. I got one of his other covers on my shirt.
Still alive. Cute old man. Wait, how am I mixing him up? I'm mixing him up with somebody else. But anyways, he's just, I don't know. It's sick. Yeah.
Now, for people who are more modern collectors, there's incredible items in the auction. Can you talk a little bit about the Goon?
The Goon. So this is, obviously it's not the mainstream. This is Avatar Press, and I don't claim to be a Goon reader or fan, but I know
I think you'd love it.
I mean, it's sick. It's a sick cover, period. I mean, the art on it's awesome. And then for it to be 9.9 grade, like that.
Have you seen the Giamatti cartoon?
Yeah, these regularly, it's already scarce enough in 9.8. I think they sell for about $1,500 in 9.8, and there's like 30 something of them on the census. And this is the only 9.9. 9.9s, period. Like that's a gem all in its own. And I don't know, for it to be.
Mikey, have you seen the Paul Giamatti cartoon remember they were going to try to get this made as a movie?
No, I'm not. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know.
You got to look at it on YouTube. So Paul Giamatti cut a cartoon for the Goon. I think after you watch it, you'll be a diehard fan. Like, that'll be enough.
And I know there's a lot more of these are being, because I follow eBay and trends and all that. A lot more of these are getting purchased. So there's got to be some sort of hype around it. But right now, I mean, a 9.9 copy of this book, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome. Super cool piece.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about this one.
Dun dun dun. So, well, Black Panther, everyone knows that he passed, and this is kind of a really cool. I mean, you can't really get a much better image of him. This is Avengers 58, splash page by John Buscema, and it's just a sick image of Black Panther. It just doesn't get better than that. And with his recent passing, I mean, it's a great tribute item.
Yeah, we kind of took a break last week and sat down with some members of the community to talk about Chadwick Boseman and the impact of the Black Panther film on comics and culture, and how cancer touches people's lives within the community, not just from the passing of a Hollywood celebrity who we all felt like was a personal friend, right? After seeing him in a film, I mean, he just kind of touched everyone's heart. But
5-year battle. It's hard. It's rough.
Yeah, super cool item. Beautiful.
Very.
Now, this guy might be the biggest boy of them all.
Yeah, the Princess of Mars. Yeah, Frank Frazetta, the best comic artist of all time. Common consensus. It's just a great cover from. It's just sweet. It's just sweet. It's Frazetta. It's.
Have you been to the Frazetta Museum?
What'd you say?
Have you been to the Frazetta Museum?
No, I haven't. I bet it's sick though.
Yeah, it's in Pennsylvania, and I have not made it there. I actually was planning on going, and then COVID hit, and that was the end of it. It's like a 6-hour trek in a car from my house. Doesn't make much sense to fly, but sort of a pain in the butt to drive. It's on the verge of New York State, and apparently is super cool. I believe it's run by his family, and I'm just grateful for the contribution, and I think
absolutely
here in the last couple of years, his original art skyrocket in price.
It's incredible, and just to see like comic book art in general, like he's had. I don't know how many over $1 million sales he's had now, but he's the only guy that's hit that mark. It's just really, really cool seeing him be kind of the level of fine artist, and he deserves to be. I mean, you see you see the way that he drew the human form. It's incredible. And this guy was kind of like the rock star of comic book art. He did covers for like was it Motley Hatchet and it's just and Wolf Mother. It's just sweet. It's just sweet. And so now the family has been really showing off his work, and I don't know. It's sweet. It's really, really cool.
So, how long have you been doing heritage auctions?
How long have I what?
As a submitter, how long have you been submitting books in heritage auctions?
About 3 years now.
And can you kind of talk people through the process? Like one of the things I thought was so interesting, I was talking to Rick from Rick's Neat Stuff, who apparently everybody calls Ricky. And I was like, I don't want to call him that. I'll just call him Rick. But, and he apprised me of the fact that they now do a buy it now section.
The marketplace. The marketplace.
Okay. Yeah. And I mean, can you kind of talk about the marketplace, about the auctions themselves, and how that process goes? For somebody who is interested in reaching out to Heritage, and how that all goes. Can you kind of give just tell us about your experience?
Well, I love them. No one's more professional. Like, that just period. They are realistic. They're honest. They have a perfect reputation, and like, it just doesn't get better than that. So if you want anything to have really worldwide publicity, you sell it through Heritage. So that's why they're sweet. But as for the marketplace, that's the thing that they're starting to get off the ground. We've had it for a while, but it's now really they're trying to get it pumping. And so yeah, again, just another forum to buy and sell really cool books. If people who have bought books in the past, you can make offers to the owner. The owner can also set them up for sale. That whole thing. It's just a really cool thing. As for consignment, they also make it really easy for you. They're great at giving really accurate, fair estimates. And they don't try to oversell anything. They really tell it like it is. And
so I want to kind of unpack that. So there's now a marketplace that works very much in the same way that like eBay would for buy it now items, right? That you can just kind of shop through.
Yeah.
And then when there are, and those are items with fixed prices that are available for sale at those fixed prices right now.
Yes.
Okay,
Buy. Click the button, it's yours.
Okay. And then if I purchase an item from an auction, somebody who wants that item can reach out to me later in time and say, hey, I want to buy that from you. This is what I'm willing to pay.
Yes.
And that happens.
Quite a bit. Really quite a bit.
Right.
I know people try to contact auctions after they close, saying like, "Oh, I missed this. I would pay more. I'd pay more." So it's really cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, fanatics are real.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm one of them.
They miss things.
Right, and then you've got the live auctions, and what I hear all the time is, well, I don't want to. I don't think I can get as much money with a buyer premium and a seller premium. And I'm like, do you actually look at these numbers, or did you hear someone say that and you just repeated that? Because that's not a real thing. You guys get the best results, period, right?
We do. In my opinion,
that's why you put your books there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I sell through Comic Connect. I sell through Comic Link also, but it's, I don't know, if you want something that really is going to get as much publicity as possible, you sell it through Heritage, and like the other comic auction major comic. Yeah, the other major comic auction houses they're great. Like I really only have great things to say about them. But if you want something to truly get the press it deserves, you go through Heritage.
Now, do you buy stuff from Heritage?
Oh, all the time. All the time. Too much.
Yeah, because you were looking at stuff last night when we were on the phone. You're like, I gotta go. I got a bid in the morning.
Well, that was actually for another auction that was this morning. But there was I want to say Invaluable. I can't remember the name of it. It's one of those just like nothing was graded in it, but there was a Spirit 22, one of the really cool girl covers, an Avengers run in really high grade, a whole Thor run, really high grade.
Spirit 22 is red dress. Eisner,
yes.
Girl, glory.
Yes. Yeah, Will Eisner. I think Will Eisner's the artist.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's one of my favorite books. I love it. Don't have a copy.
Super sought after. But raw, all of these raw and in very good condition. So it was just a cool thing to see. But if that person that sold through that auction house did it through Heritage, got everything graded. It would have been 10 times the auction would have been 10x what it went for, what everything went for.
So are all of the comics on Heritage graded?
No. They're also, they sell raw stuff too. And it's, they have the best of the best there, saying this is the grade. This is and they're honest and upfront. They check all the pages, no restoration, all that, or they note it otherwise. They sell tons of raw stuff.
And one of the things that I love about Heritage is it is an encyclopedia of incredible information about comics and art, right? If you want to know,
you look at it.
It's the place to go.
And that's the really cool thing. It's a resource. Just alone, it's a resource. You tons and tons of pricing data for collectibles, period. They have 48 categories, between 30 plus categories of information of prices realized. So you can see, if you're looking up anything, they've probably sold something similar to it. So it's just a great, great pricing resource, period. And all of that information's public. You just need to make an account.
Can you talk a little bit about how the comic market has evolved in the COVID America? I mean, you're not able to go to conventions and dig through books. Did you make it to the Little Giant Con?
But I did make it to the Little Giant Con, and I was antsy. Because all the conventions are getting canceled and all that. But the Little Giant convention was kind of that little bastion. I dropped everything. I was like, I need to go back to a convention, and it was awesome. I had never been to it before, and it's just a great convention. I really recommend it.
Hang out with Jason?
I did hang out with Jason. That's the owner of the convention. Awesome guy. Really, it's just great convention. It was a really, really fun time. I wish it was just longer. It was 1 day convention. It's my only criticism. Should have been 3 days.
What'd you pick up, if you don't mind me asking?
Dun, dun, dun. So, really the cool thing about that place is it's a great place to find, more modern and bronze stuff. So, you get Tick number ones and really good grade, and then there's the Invincible series, which is now there's a lot of notoriety about this book right now. Also great condition, but then everyone knows dun, Venom, and this I actually purchased from Jason, the owner of the convention. Awesome guy, great fare, so fair. And Amazing Spider-Man 300s and all that. First of that, a lot of
Jesus, man,
a lot of stuff. So it was a great buying show, and with the movie coming out, Carnage, again, also purchased from Jason, Little Giant Convention. Great.
Yeah, 9/8 of ASM 300 went from 1,000 to 2,000 and are closing in on 3K.
I think there was a sale. I think Comic Link just sold one for over $3,000.
Wow.
Yeah, that book it's awesome. 1988, so it's not scarce, but it's just to see it. It's just cool. It's also a cover that is pretty hard to get perfect. So in 9/8 grade from that period, it's just. It
cover's
really
black.
Cool.
Yeah, back cover's all black.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Very neat. What else should bring us?
Dun. So then, as for Golden Age, so there was some pretty sweet Golden Age there. My coolest pickup. Detective.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 140. So this is the first Riddler.
It's gorgeous.
Very, very pretty condition. I'm a book tinkerer, so it's not going to look like this for much longer. But it's really, really cool to see stuff like that at that convention. Also, huge LB Cole fan. So to see this also at their convention, there's gems like that in the rough. So if you're really after Golden Age, it's not while there is tons of that kind of stuff there, it's much more of a bronze and modern kind of convention. But it was silver also, but really bronze and modern centric. But there still is tons of cool Golden Age there. A lot of collectors there. A lot of stuff that's just not out there on the open market, really. Old school guys. It's just cool. It's just really cool.
Mikey, I can't tell you how appreciative we are for the time that you spend with us. It means a lot to not just me, but to all the guys on Tales from the Flipside and the CBSI extended family. We really and truly appreciate it. I hope that we can get you to, against your better judgment, be a recurring guest, come back and talk with us about this sort of stuff. I feel like we could have spent an entire hour picking your brain about how you buy comics and how you sell comics. And I hope that you'll let me do that at some point in time in the future. Before we go, can you kind of tell everybody where they can find you? I know that you're going to want to probably finish fixing those books before they go to market. But if people want to reach out to you about buying books or selling books, how do they find you?
So easiest way is Instagram. Mikey Comics on Instagram. So I would really just recommend going there. Yeah. And yeah.
You're a good man. I appreciate it, my friend.